This is Shannon Taylor. I did attempt to make the presentation through PowerPoint as described, but after much trying and several hours and several people helping, it still didn't work. So I'm recording with my phone, and this is what we're doing. Here's the presentation. This is the propagation assignment by Shannon Taylor. What to choose for the propagation project? So many grains that I would love to experiment with to grow on my own property. I chose 5 different grains out of my pantry that I wanted to experiment with. Some of these grains may have lost their viability during the process to get from field to our table. It's possible that some were heated or treated in some manner, but I wanted to try regardless. Here you see pictures of teff, chia, amaranth, poppy, and barley. Poppies are something that have grown on my property here in Sequim, Washington. I was fairly confident that poppy seeds would sprout and be easy to propagate. Poppies are found around the globe from icy cold tundra to broiling hot deserts, mostly in the northern hemisphere. Barley is another plant that is grown here in Washington state, as well as Idaho, Montana, and North Dakota. My instinct was to believe it would propagate fairly easily. However, I used the same method as I did with the smaller seeds, simply wetting the seeds on a damp paper towel. Chia seeds are part of the mint family, Salvia hispanica. They are generally grown and harvested in the warmer climates of central and southern Mexico. However, there has been success within the U.S. growing in both Arizona and Kentucky. Having experimented with sprouting before, I was hoping this was one of those easy-to-sprout seeds. Teff is grown in Ethiopia and Eritrea. I was excited to try out this grain because it is not native to the United States. I employed the same method of wetting the seeds. Amaranth is primarily grown in China, but there has been success growing it on the Great Plains in the United States. In fact, I believe that some Native Americans have been working on bringing it back. This is one of those less commonly used plants that I am curious about. With each of the 5 seeds that I chose out of my pantry, I wet the seeds and placed them on a damp paper towel. This method of sprouting worked well for the smaller seeds. Since I tried 5 different seeds, I experienced mixed results. With both the amaranth and barley, I felt that perhaps I should have soaked the seeds for 6 hours before planting the seeds lightly in soil and planters and letting them heat in the greenhouse would have provided better results. I believe I would have had better luck this way. I believe the poppy seeds would have done better if they had soaked first for an hour and then set in the jar on a damp paper towel. The 2 successful sprouters needed more immediate follow-through on my part. My conclusion is that they would have fully thrived if I would have been on top of gently adding soil as we continued over the past few weeks. The barley seeds would have done better to have been soaked for those 6 hours and maybe up to 12 hours if I was simply looking to sprout them. However, if I were looking to plant them outside for an actual crop, I learned that barley is a crop that prefers cold weather. Therefore, planting barley seeds is commonly done in October when the ground is freezing. Those who want a spring crop will generally plant in January. As stated on the previous slide, the amaranth should have been soaked before being planted in the soil directly. I've seen amaranth in our local area, and I believe had I used this better method, the plant would have become viable. It was these poppy seeds that most surprised me. Red poppies began popping up on my property volunteering after a neighbor gave me benzosoil from her garden. Although I did not want to have red poppies volunteering all over my garden, I did appreciate collecting the seeds. It is these seeds that I put in my pantry, or so I thought. I was betting on these seeds being an easy guess for propagation, but I was wrong. I definitely want to try this again. It may simply be that I need to cover them lightly with soil. I was pleasantly surprised by the chia seeds. Because they had come from the store, I was expecting that the processing of the chia seeds might have destroyed their viability, but this project kindly displays that too much processing did not occur. This proof makes me feel better as a consumer about eating this product from the store. With the chia seeds, I will try again with putting a light soil over the top as they begin to sprout to see if they will continue. I may also, at the same time, try placing the seeds directly in soil. Teff was the most exciting seed that I tried. I was really happy when it sprouted. This was one that came to me through a grocery store, so I questioned its viability. But yay, to my surprise, many of the seeds sprouted. I'm excited to experiment with many different seeds and grains that are not necessarily native to our region or type of climate to see what can essentially still survive and maybe even thrive here in our Pacific Northwest. Thank you, Miss Blackie, for this fun propagation project in botany. I will definitely be attempting this again, aiming for greater success by including soil and following through with more attention to details. Sometimes plants do much better at self-propagation on their own, but I definitely want to learn how to better involve myself successfully with learning how to help plants along in their propagation. I have great interest in helping plants that are not native to the Pacific Northwest to at least be able to thrive in the microclimate of my own backyard.